how to cover blemishes is actually one of the most complicated, if not even the most complicated subject we're discussing in these tutorials. And that is because if you want to cover something that is dark, like this mole I have here on my hand, you need to use a lot of product. So it's harder to cover it in order for it to look natural. Whereas if you have something that is not that dark, it's easier to cover it. Therefore, for example, freckles might be slightly easier to cover than sunspots or other pigmentation. So you understand what I mean. But the main problem is that when you want to cover it, when you use a concealer, when you put a layer of corrector over, you want it to look natural. And here's where things get seriously complicated. Remember when I was talking about colors? This is the worst color theory actually there is in makeup and in general. Actually, the reason being is, for example, if you have a mole like I do, it's gray, which means that it contains a lot of blue. And if you want to cover blue, you actually need to put orange over. But then my skin is pink, so if I would completely cover it with something orangey, also that would be orangey. Therefore, I need to think about just the exact amount of coverage I apply in order for the blue to shine through and make that orange appear pink, because my skin is pink. Hope I explained that well. This is how complicated it gets. For example, if you have this purple pigment spot, covering it is actually a nightmare, because you need to put just the right amount of concealer over, and you need to apply just up until the line, so the border, and it also needs to be the right color. So for example, if it's purple, you would need to put yellow over, and as I said, you would need to put it in such layer that it would match your skin tone, which is almost impossible to do. And it's also, first of all, there is no way you would cover it at home under artificial light. It needs to be good light. And I suggest you that if you have such issues, for example, if you want to cover marks or stuff like this, find an expert, because it's not a problem of texture, finding the right product. It's actually a problem of how to match those colors. And even for me as a makeup artist working in the industry for such a long time, this is one of the by far the hardest thing to do. We again come to that subject I was telling you about, just accepting yourself the way you are. But to give you that cushion again, that you won't land, hard, there is a solution, and there's two brands that I really like. This is Derma Blend, Derma Color. I have a whole pack of them like this because I use it on a lot of people. Not a lot of people. I mean, I clean it, but you know what I mean. I clean it. So I apply it on different skin types. I mix and match them. There's certain colors I haven't even used in my life. I tend to use a bit of green because it's color corrective, slightly yellow, orange, and so on. So you have this. It's coverage. Creolan does it. It's Creolan's brand, and it's Stage Makeup. So this is how you'll be able to get the perfect match for your skin. Just go there. They have so many colors that if there's an expert in the store, they'll definitely pick the right one. And then just apply over, and this also stays in place. You can put a bit of powder maybe, but you don't need to, because this is quite natural. I love it. And this covers zits as well, but with spots we have a whole nother problem, because you can have way more if you start covering them with such thick products. And then the second brand is Cover FX, which I stopped using because they became slightly too expensive. I love the packaging and everything, and they're really good products. So Cover FX is a brand that emerged from finding a solution, and that is how to cover blemishes. So Cover FX, or this Dermacolor. Remember when we were talking about being self-conscious? You might have not noticed it up until now, but now that I'll tell you, you'll see how prominent this is and how I want to change it in a way. So this eyebrow is on a different level than this one. I tend to move this eyebrow more up like this. Well, also when I look, I'm like, oh, what? And that's why I'm trying to pull this eyebrow up. And they're also like this because I was at the hairdresser and she cut this one slightly too much. But what I wanted to say is that we're all self-conscious about something. And I also noticed that I push my head more in one direction than in the other. And now that I'm recording myself, I'm noticing these differences on my face, and the older I am, the more prominent they are, and they started to irritate me. But you know, this is just how we are. I mean, whenever you'll be watching my videos from now on, I believe you'll be looking at my brows thinking like, did he correct this brow? Is it more up? You know, are they balanced? Did it make him creases here? But yeah, whatever. Back to the subject. If you want to cover such blemishes, go ahead, you know, have a play with it. I'll be showing you also in makeup tutorials how to do that. I'll try to get experts on the subject. So this is a system that is developing, that is getting better and better. Therefore, if you want something special, or I haven't answered something in the tutorials, whichever tutorial, not just this one, write it down in the comments, and I'll try to satisfy your wishes as much as I can.